James Vanderzee might have been a musician instead of a photographer. He was born in 1886 and grew up in the western Massachusetts resort town of Lenox. It was a popular spot for the white East Coast elite. Vanderzee's parents were house servants to the wealthy and were themselves cultured and relatively comfortable. Vanderzee grew up playing piano and violin. He had dreams of becoming a professional musician. At the age of 14, he got his first camera and set up a darkroom in his closet. At 19, he and his brother Walter moved to New York City. Vanderzee's widow, his third wife, Donna Vanderzee, says the career in photography came almost by accident.
So he's in New York, and he's working odd jobs as elevator operator and doing gigs and teaching music. And he takes a job in New Jersey after he had seen an ad in the newspaper that said they needed a darkroom person. So he always used to like to say, I thought I was dark enough to get the job.
One day, the white boss was out. James took over in the posing studio. With his gracious, gentle manner, he was much better than the boss at making people comfortable. Customers were soon asking to be photographed by, quote, the colored fellow.
When Vanderzee was doing as much work outside as in the darkroom, he asked for a raise. The man refused to give him a raise, and so he said, well, I can do this myself. I know how to do this.
James and his wife at the time, Gaynella, eventually opened a portrait studio on 135th Street in Harlem. She was a talented business manager. He made most of the photographs. Trade was brisk. In the studio, one of Vanderzee's specialties was using props and painted backdrops to create a tableau, a detailed visual allegory. He also used photomontage to tell stories. In one photo, a young couple poses in their wedding finery in front of a painted fireplace. Vanderzee has superimposed a little girl, partly transparent, at their feet.
I said, well, Van, how did these people take this? Because you started out with them. The subject was them. They were newlyweds, and here you have the insertion of a child. Sometimes, he said, there was a space in the photograph that he wanted to fill. As simple as that.
Vanderzee told the couple the photo would be called Future Expectations.
And they loved it.
Historian John Wright says Vanderzee also used darkroom techniques to make his clients look their best.
He used to talk quite a bit about how his subjects oftentimes didn't realize just how beautiful they were.
At the age of 91, Vanderzee recalled in a TV interview how he would retouch negatives to eliminate facial lines and wrinkles.
As you can see, just what lines in that face is not necessary there. Well, it wasn't beautiful. I took out the unbeautifulness, put them in the position that they look beautiful, took out the defects. Well, they all look beautiful to me.
Vanderzee's clients were almost always well-dressed in their photos. Some historians say he kept a wardrobe at the ready for those who could not afford good clothes.
To have enough clothing for all of his people, he would have to be Bloomingdale's.
Donna Vanderzee disputes the idea.
Remember, it was not inexpensive to have a photograph taken. You had to look your best. Not only that, they may have borrowed a suit or a jacket or a dress or a hat from a relative. That's what I would do.
In addition to studio work, Vanderzee was also a kind of Harlem photojournalist. One of Vanderzee's big clients in the mid-1920s was the United Negro Improvement Association, or UNIA. It was led by a fiery Jamaican immigrant named Marcus Garvey and was the largest mass movement of Black Americans in history.
Fellow citizens of Africa, I greet you in the name of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League of the World.
This is Garvey in 1921. The UNIA opened chapters across the country with a message of Black political and economic self-sufficiency and a call for Black people around the world to unite.
There are 400 million Africans in the world who have Negro blood coursing through their veins, and we believe that the time has come to unite these 400 million people for the one common purpose of bettering their condition.
Along with taking pictures of Marcus Garvey and his movement, Van der Zee was also hired to photograph Harlem church and social groups, fraternal organizations, and sports teams. Some posed in his studio, some in the street.